yeah, a show that I think has got some decent matches on it. A show that I think... Has it got people's attention? I think it's really hard to say because I think people are sort of into it, but it's a bit tricky because of the fact that it is going on at the same weekend as WrestleMania. It's not even a different day. We've said before, Saturday, middle of the day. I suppose in a way it's kind of different, fresh. Not seen it before, not seen them do it there before. It's just weird. I mean, like wrestling at like lunchtime is going to be a little bit strange. It's a bit later than that here in the UK, in all fairness. In the UK, it's lunchtime in America. But here in the UK, it's, I think, about 6 o'clock. It's around about that time, about 5, 6 o'clock, which I suppose isn't a bad time to be watching wrestling. It's just weird to watch that and then go into WrestleMania after. So, yeah, that's coming up this weekend. This is the go-home show for that. It says tonight, we've got a little preview as to what we're going to be seeing. I haven't had a chance to read this yet, so we can read it live. Cameron Grimes, A-Kid, and Roderick Strong collide in a triple threat match to earn the final spot in the North American title ladder match. Plus, LA Knight and MSK join forces to take on Imperium in a massive 6-man tag match. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen square up with Legado del Fantasma, and Nikita Lyons returns in action in this loaded episode. So, yeah, Cameron Grimes, Roderick Strong, A-Kids in a triple threat to get into the ladder match. That could be interesting. LA Knight, MSK taking on Imperium. It's always nice to see Gunter. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen collide with Legado del Fantasma. Nikita Lyons is set to Raw. I saw her in her debut match. She didn't really blow me away. But then it's hard to do that in one match, isn't it? So we'll see what she looks like tonight. Ivy Niall squares up with Tiffany Stratton. So we've got that match tonight as well. Bodie Hayward steps up for Chase University to take on Von Wagner. So that Bodie is the guy that was getting really fired up. He's kind of like Andre Chase's right-hand man. So he's going to be taking on Von Wagner this evening. Draco Anthony pushes back against Joe Gacy. So Draco Anthony is fed up with Joe Gacy's persistent efforts to recruit him into his crusade of inclusivity and looks to take a page out of Gacy's book and settle his dispute in the ring. For weeks, Gacy has hounded Anthony, interrupting his workouts, how rude, surprising him in the parking lot, and consistently blowing up his phone. So, there we go. That's the preview for what we've got on the show tonight. Jim said, could NXT not have done Stand and Deliver tonight or tomorrow? It's a shame that NXT UK is being left out. I can understand them not doing it tonight because, if they did it tonight, then it would be basically a pay-per-view that is getting shown on TV. So I think the purpose of Stand and Deliver is, like, say they have 4 pay-per-view shows a year, and they're the ones that go onto Peacock. It's probably part of the Peacock agreement. I mean, I have no idea what's within that agreement, but my guess is that they've promised them X amount of premium live events a year. Some of those are probably made up from NXT. So that's probably why you can't do it tonight. Tomorrow, though, is very interesting. Tomorrow's interesting. I wonder if they just don't have the building tomorrow. I wonder if, they only have the building, from Thursday or something. But tomorrow could have been a good day to have done it. You could have done it and then actually, gone up against AEW and seen if you could have hurt AEW at the same time. If I'm WWE, I don't give a flip about AEW. So, yeah, tomorrow would have been a good day to have done it. Or Thursday. I mean, I can't see why can't you do it Thursday. There's no reason why Thursday would have been a problem. You could have done Stand and Deliver on Thursday. Could have done SmackDown and Hall of Fame on Friday. I mean, even the Hall of Fame's a bit strange. Because the Hall of Fame is 10 till 11:30. So, like, it's... If you buy a ticket to go to that, like, it doesn't start until 10. Does anyone else think it's really weird, like, going to a show that doesn't start until 10 o'clock at night? Like, it's just weird, isn't it? I don't... Is it taped earlier in the day and then shown at 10? Maybe it's that. Maybe it's, like, actually it starts at 8 o'clock, finishes at, like, 9:30, something like this. I don't know. It's a bit weird. And then it gets shown, like, later than it's... Or is it live? I don't know. I genuinely don't know on that one, if the Hall of Fame is live this year or not. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then, obviously, you've got, WrestleMania on Saturday, Sunday. And it is a shame there's nothing for NXT UK. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's like COVID or whatever. But, I mean, there was no access, was there really? And then they kind of cobbled something together for access. So, sort of feels like this year has been a bit thrown together in places. And some of the pieces don't quite fit. I can't even remember if this was meant to be a 2-day WrestleMania, because maybe at first it wasn't even meant to be 2 days. I can't remember. But yeah, I think there's been quite a few little tweaks and changes along the way. But hey-ho, either way, here we are. This is what's happening. And, we'll obviously enjoy it. Watch it, enjoy it, get out whatever we can, basically. I'm sure it'll still be a good show. David Smith, shout out to you, says, hi, how you doing? Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I thought that Raw was not too bad. So kind of still, not buzzing, but pleased that, there was nothing that was stupid on there, or like it wasn't just video pack. At least we got like Becky and Bianca. At least we got some good promos. Maybe the in-ring was missing. Maybe there wasn't really much in-ring wise, but I kind of thought the garnish around, last night was pretty good. So for a go home, for a normal show, I'd probably be like a 5.75 to a 6. But for a go home, I'll bump that up to about a 7. So yeah, I think that it's that was decent. I've got high hopes for SmackDown. Really looking forward to the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Oh my God, so excited for that. That is something I'm genuinely excited for, looking forward to. So we will do SmackDown and we will stick around and we will do the Hall of Fame straight after. We're doing Stand and Deliver. We're doing WrestleMania. Those streams, haven't put the SmackDown one up yet, but the WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver streams are on the channel now. So if you haven't already, hit that reminder, drop a like on it as well. Like, it's greatly appreciated. Big weekend, obviously. One of the biggest the biggest weekend of the year when it comes to wrestling. But yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's exciting. There is a buzz in the air. It's maybe not like a crazy buzz at the moment, but there is a buzz in the air. It is still WrestleMania week, so enjoy it. That's what it's here for, innit? Enjoy it. Please, there wasn't anything stupid in there. Is the current state of WWE, said Lance. I know, I say that, but there was 2 proposals in relationships that have been not even relationships. Like, I don't even think Tozawa and Tamina are in a relationship. Like, even in storyline, like, it kind of feels like she's been very standoffish with him. It's not like they've been together for years and we've just been hoping that they'll finally, get married. Like, this thing's been going for, I don't know, a month or 2. So, yeah, I suppose that was silly, but I thought it was all right, for a go home. John said, Saturday is going to be a great day. Football during the day and then wrestling at night. Daniel said, is there anyone in particular you would like to see join the Blackpool Combat Club? And do you think Cesaro would be a good fit if he came in? I wouldn't have Cesaro. Would he be a good fit? I'm sure he would be, but I think it might be nicer, actually, if you did Cesaro and Bryan Danielson rather than Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So you could replace Moxley with Cesaro, But to be honest, I think that anyone else now probably should be a few young lions, if you will. Should be your Wheeler Utahs, your Moriartys, and people like that. So I kind of like the idea of a couple of old heads, William Regal, and then, a couple of young guns in there. So I wouldn't be shoving Cesaro in with Danielson and Moxley because, unless you're going for like a Four Horsemen faction, which I don't think is kind of what they're going for. They seem to be scouting, don't they? They're scouting young up-and-comers. So I'd like to see Wheeler Yuta. I think Wheeler Yuta going in there would be good. And I don't know, I think the other one's really difficult because I think there's a few names that are around. I tell you who would have been good. That Carter, was it Ben Carter who went to NXT UK? He would have been really good because there was a real buzz around him. And so, him, going into the Blackpool Combat Club, and he was English as well. So, going into the Blackpool Combat Club would have been a great fit. I wonder if they could save Anthony Ogogo. Because what group's he in? Is he in, I don't know what group he's in. Maybe they can save him. Anthony Ogogo, going into the Blackpool Combat Club could be interesting. He would be the muscle as well because he's got a good size to him. He's obviously former boxer and he's English. Not that you have to be English, but I just think that it kind of works quite nice, what with, being named after Blackpool and Regal being the manager. I think that, that's someone that's got a bit of promise. And I don't know where he is, though. I think he's injured at the moment. So maybe I'd go Wheeler Yuta and Anthony Ogogo. Could be kind of fun. Or, I don't know what Aaron Solo's like, but he's someone that would really benefit by having a spotlight shone on him. But I don't know if he's worth it, to be honest. I don't mean that as disrespect. I genuinely don't know. I don't know if he is worth it or not, so... Tyler said, hope you are well. Not sure how you feel about Stand and Deliver card, but I'm looking forward to it more than either night of WrestleMania, says Tyler. Let me have a look at it. I'm not looking forward to it more than WrestleMania. I think neither night of WrestleMania looks like it's incredible. Both nights of WrestleMania have got matches that I'm not going to be interested in. But I think Stand and Deliver does as well. Let me have a look. NXT, Stand and Deliver. Let's click on here. NXT, Stand and Deliver. So we've got... Oh, that was last year. This is this year. So, 6 matches. LA Knight against Gunther. Could be good. I'm looking forward to that. Dolph Ziggler, Bron Breakker. Only problem with that is I'm expecting Bron Breakker to get called up, so I don't think it's going to be Bron Breakker. I think that's going to be a little predictable that Dolph will win it. So, I'm leaning Dolph on that. I think Dolph will win that. It could be a good match, though. Imperium against MSK against Creed Brothers. I'm not the biggest MSK fan. The more I'm seeing of them, the more I'm not feeling it. I think that they came in and they showed a lot of promise at the start, but I'm just not really seeing I'm just not really crazy about their matches. I think that Imperium against Creed Brothers 1-on-1, plus I'm not a big fan of triple threats. So, 100% if we was to take them out and just do Imperium against Creeds, I'd be down for that. MSK being in, I'm not the biggest MSK fan, so that one maybe has just got a little asterisk next to it. Mandy Rose against Cora Jade, Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. I must admit they have improved that match. Mandy Rose against Cora Jade, I just thought was a joke. I have no idea why they were doing that. I mean, Cora Jade, you can say she's an up-and-comer or something like this, but competing for the NXT Women's Championship, I mean, I don't understand that at all. But they've added Io and they've added Kaylee Ray, and I think that makes it a better match. I don't think Io wins. I'm not sure that anyone other than the champion retains, to be honest. So, but yeah, I could be down for watching for that. Tommaso Ciampa against Tony D'Angelo. I think Tony has struggled in ring. Tommaso is a legend. I don't think he's sticking around. I expect Tony to win it. I hope it's a great match. I don't know that I'm expecting a great match. I think I'm hoping more there. And then you've got the ladder match. That could be good. So I think the card overall is probably about a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I think that a lot of the matches are either predictable. There's just a slight element that I would like change. And like, yeah, a few superstars that I just don't quite think are ready. Like, I don't think Cora Jade's ready. I don't think Cora Jade should be in a women's title match. I don't mind it being one half of a tag team, but actually competing for the NXT Women's Championship, I don't see why she's in that match. Tony D'Angelo, I'm not sold. Not sold, to be honest. I think that feels like we're trying to get him over. And in all fairness, he was over, and then they kind of turned him heel. And I don't know, it's kind of stuttering a little bit. So yeah, about 6.5 to a 7 for the cards. It's all right. It's all right. But in all fairness, I'd probably say the same for either of the WrestleMania days as well. I think that they have got some really good matches. The only thing I would say is that I think the highs for WrestleMania are higher. I think that the matches that I'm looking forward to for WrestleMania I'm looking forward to them more. So, you know, like Roman and Brock, I'm really looking forward to that. The women's championship matches, I am looking forward to those. Becky Bianca, I think that's got a great build. You know, certainly with the haircut in, I thought that was great last night on Raw, where Becky got a haircut. Like, I didn't think they would go that far. So I think that's had a really good build. So those kind of highs, I think, are higher than anything on this NXT card. But maybe you could argue equally the lows, the celebrity matches and things like that, are lower than anything on this card as well. So maybe NXT Stand and Deliver just kind of nicely sits in the middle, whereas WrestleMania's got a few higher highs and a few lower lows. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's how it comes across to me. But we'll see. There'll be some good stuff. I mean, the one thing you do get when it comes to these kind of shows is that NXT tends to deliver. Like, if you think about like some of the great takeovers that we've had in the past, like some of the brilliant takeovers, you know, this could be like right up there. You know, the card might not blow my mind, but it can always over deliver. And it could be a big opportunity for NXT 2.0 to show that it's, do you know what I mean? It's just as good as the black and gold. I think a lot of people still, like, you know, think back to the black and gold, think back to Full Sail, and think back to how it was. But, you know, this is an opportunity for these guys to kind of stand on their own 2 feet. But Ricochet, Finn Balor should have been on the WrestleMania card, says Dylan. Dort Knight said, what's the WWE event at Newcastle? Is it a Raw or a SmackDown? I don't know. I haven't seen that tour. It would be I don't know. Does it not say on the Newcastle if you just put in WWE Newcastle? Have they not specified yet? It's no, doesn't say. Doesn't say on the ticket thing. I've not seen any news as to whether it's Raw or SmackDown. Days, I agree. I think NXT across the board doesn't have the same potential as Mania, but at the same time, they're just promoting their top wrestlers and not celebrities. That's true. I think it was a bad idea to put it on at the same day as Mania. The show won't get the attention it deserves. I think it will get eyes. People will tune into it, but I think the problem is that you're not gonna have people talking about it and it trending and it getting people's attention after, because straight after it goes into WrestleMania, doesn't it? It's like as soon as it's been and gone, that's it. It will be forgotten about. Unless there's something incredible that like steals the weekend. But you are right that putting it on the same day as WrestleMania just means that that's where people's attention is going to be instead. Lauren said, off topic, have you heard or seen WrestleMania numbers? They are shockingly low. I've not seen them, no. I heard they sold out one of the days, and I heard that they'd sold, last I heard, they sold about 120,000 tickets of the 200,000. So I don't know where we are now, but that was the last that I'd heard. So put it in if you know what they are. Last time I heard, each night had sold 60, 120, yeah. I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. Big match, Miss Clown One. Yep. That should have done it on NXT weekend. Did you hear UFC 275 will be held in Singapore? Nope. Is there any matches for 275 yet? Official for June in Singapore, featuring 2 title fights. Looks like Glover Teixeira. Okay. Teixeira, Shevchenko versus Santos, Whitaker against Vettori, Teixeira versus Prochaska. Okay. Looks pretty good. 2 title fights. Take that. Adam said, Days, Amos versus Lashley should be a last man standing, and Corbin Drew should be a falls count anywhere. 21 Connor said, have you ever been to WrestleMania? No. Or any wrestling events? Yes. If you did, how was it? Well, I went to a couple of WWE house shows or WWF house shows when I was a kid. And no exaggeration, it was the most exciting day of the year for me each time. So I went a few times to Birmingham in about 1994-ish. And I remember seeing Undertaker, Alundra Blaze, King Kong Bundy, who was back on the roster for some reason at that point. I think Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, maybe Doink, maybe. But those are the kind of names that I was seeing. Adam Bomb, I think, was there. So I loved it. I didn't know who I was going to be seeing. My mom told me, all I kept going on about is, will we see Undertaker? That's what I kept saying when I was young. Like, will we see the Undertaker? Do you think the Undertaker will be there? And he was. And, that was great. So apparently I just kept asking about, like, will Undertaker be there? And it was great. I mean, it's weird because you don't get any commentary, and I think that's something that is a bit jarring if you go for the first time. Like, it's really weird to go and watch live wrestling and not have any commentary. So I think as a kid, I found that a bit strange. I don't know why. I just thought I'd be able to still hear it. Like, they'd put it over the speakers or something. I didn't really think about it. But you're sat there and it's just, you're watching them wrestle and you're just hearing the boof of the mat, and that is it. And you definitely feel like something's missing. So, yeah, that's a bit strange when you first go. Obviously, you get more used to it the more that you go. I went again in about 2008, I think it was, to a Raw in London. I had a good time, really good time, enjoyed it. I went then more as a casual, actually, in 08, because I was keeping up with the stories, but I wasn't watching Raw every week because of work. So, but I was aware of what was happening. So to actually go and see people and hear their music and all that kind of stuff, that was kind of a really cool experience. Like, I think I could definitely see it more from a casual fan's eyes when I went in 08. And then, like, more recently, I've been to, like, the WWE NXT tournament shows and things like that, and a couple of NXT UK tapings. And they were cool. I mean, like the ones in Blackpool were amazing. I love those NXT UK shows. The house show I went to was all right. It was all right. It was a TV taping / kind of house show type thing. So yeah, I mean, but I've never been to like a big pay-per-view, so I don't know. Can't really answer that. I'm sure there might be someone in the chat that has. But yeah, I would say the merch stands are something that I always look forward to seeing because I love merch. The not having commentators is quite jarring. If you go to a Raw and they're like, right, we're about to go live type thing, that's exciting as well. You know that like you are watching something that's being beamed around the world, and that's kind of exciting. So if you do go to a Raw or a SmackDown, that's different to a house show, because you know that what you're watching is being watched around the world, and you are watching something in a room with only, 15,000 other people seeing something live that everyone else is just having to watch on TV, and it's got like a special feeling to it, so that's pretty cool. So I have been to Raw. I've been fortunate to go to Raw and SmackDown a few times when they've come over to the UK, so... Daniel said, what do you think of the Senegal fans tonight with an absurd amount of lasers that got shone all over the Egypt players' faces, every penalty they took in the eyes? I haven't seen it because I was watching England against Ivory Coast, so I haven't seen this, but everyone was talking about these lasers in our chat as we were doing the live thing, so I mean, it's got to be... something that is condemned by FIFA, something that they're going to struggle to clamp down on, but I'm sure they can find ways of doing it. I mean, should they have stopped the penalty kicks until the lasers stopped? Could they have, I don't know what they could have done. Could it be a case that in the future they would eject the crowds and do penalty kicks in front of no fans? If that happens in the future, I don't know. I think that's something that they should look at. Definitely they should look at. But it's not something that tends to happen. But you don't want to see it start coming into the game, do you? So it's wonderful what you had as an experience. I'm glad you had a wonderful time, including SummerSlam. Yeah, well, I wasn't watching wrestling when we had SummerSlam. I genuinely think that SummerSlam in the UK is probably the reason why I've got into wrestling, because my cousin actually got into wrestling around that time, I believe. I think he got into it not too much before me, but he got into it and then got me into it. And I think SummerSlam probably played a big part in him getting into it. And then by Survivor Series, he's got me into it. So, yeah, it's actually the Survivor Series after that SummerSlam that I first get into wrestling. Sadly, I wasn't watching when that SummerSlam was on. Otherwise, I would have pestered my parents to have gone. Right, we are underway with NXT. We've got Gunther and LA Knight. So, this is a 6-man tag, isn't it? 6-man tag. Boom. Days, I recorded Deep Heat Wrestling. It's funny. I watched it today. Well, glad you enjoyed it. If you type in laser on Twitter, then you'll see Mo Salah with about 20 lasers on his face in the build-up to the shot. I went to WrestleMania 29 when it was Rock Cena. It was outdoors. It was freezing, but a good experience. Wow. Now, that's interesting. You don't ever hear about like people saying, God, it was so cold and all that kind of stuff. So that's really interesting. I genuinely don't know what the weather would have been like if you went to like SummerSlam in 92. I mean, there's a good chance that could have been a little bit moody in the UK as well. But you never really think about those things, do you? Never really think about the temperature. Yeah, that's interesting. Glad you enjoyed it. Awesome. NXT Stand and Deliver is starting. That's on Saturday, isn't it? This is the go home. So the show has started with Imperium, who were in the entranceway getting attacked from behind. So it's Imperium against LA Knight and MSK. Robin said, "This is how you start a wrestling show." Gene says, "Do you miss the Premier League?" I do miss the Premier League, yeah. I mean, I like, I miss it because I like playing the fantasy game. So I do miss it for that reason, but I don't mind international games. I mean, I really love England. I love England as much as I love Man United and Stourbridge. So it's not a problem for me to watch internationals. I really enjoy watching England play. So I do miss the Premier League because I miss the fantasy game. But it's fine. I mean, it comes back this weekend. It's really fine. I've really enjoyed watching England for the past couple of games. So, yeah, big shout out to everyone that's joined us over on the Football Days channel. And, of course, USA and Canada look like they're going to be at the World Cup later this year. So we'll be doing all of that. The whole World Cup, build up to the World Cup. We'll be doing a lot of content for the World Cup. And, obviously, we're, still doing Premier League anyway. So, yeah, busy boy. Right, big back body drop by LA Knight. LA Knight staying on his feet. And obviously this is just one of those matches where, all these guys are going to be in action at the weekend. So, just chucking them in a 6-man tag. I looked it up, and it was a high of 58 for Mania, and it was at night, so that is cold. Jordan says, wait, Man U? Yeah, I support Man United. I have done since the early 90s. But I'm not someone that cares about, like, banter and all that kind of stuff. So if you're a Liverpool fan, great. If you're an Arsenal fan, great. We have a little chat about football and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm not interested in the banter. This NXT show will be great, says 21 Connor. Dark Knight said, I'm worried about Salah and Mane. Will they both start Saturday after having gone to penalties? And Salah has to be a bit broke. Yeah, he's probably going to sting, but we saw him when he had that disappointment at the AFCON come back with a real fire and intensity. Like, some of the best ways that you can get over disappointment is by just getting back on the pitch and playing hard. So, he could do that. I mean, you could actually get a fired Mo Salah, fired up Mo Salah that wants revenge, And the best way to get revenge is to go out there and beat up a few teams. So, Klopp will know what he's doing. He'll be all right. Alex said, I've had a look and it seems that about 120,000 tickets have been sold. The stadium is only set up for 60 each night, extra if needed. Plus NXT, Raw and SmackDown have tickets sold. So 120,000 is what I heard quite a while ago. I suppose, I'm a bit surprised. They have the ability to do more. But it seems like that's been a bit of a struggle for them. So, I don't think it's a disaster. If you're telling me especially that it's like largely set up for 60,000. Because one end will be taken over with the stage. So, I should imagine they wanted more though. I'd imagine like if they could have got each night to 80, like they would have done that. Who knows? Maybe they could have got it to 200,000. Maybe the floor seats could have made up for like the one half of the stand being the staging. Don't know. I'm sure Meltzer does. I'm sure Meltzer knows if it was good or bad, and it was probably bad. Right, we've got MSK cleaning house at the moment. Suicide dive outside the ring. Here is Wesley is going. Nice big boot. Gunter in there. Massive boot by Gunter. Calls in LA Knight. And I think we're about to go to commercial break. And there we go. They need to start saving Bovril and serving Bovril and steak pies at WrestleMania to combat the cold. They do indeed. Bovril. Do you know, I've never had it. Never had Bovril. Bovril is like, isn't it like a meaty flavored drink, hot drink? It's like meant to be quite hearty. It's kind of something it's very Midlands actually, but amazingly not something I've ever had or ever tried or would ever want. A hot meat drink does not sound like very appealing to me at all. At all. So, but yeah, Bovril. I mean, I don't think Bovril is kind of a thing that's that popular. I feel like it was around more in the, I don't know, flipping war or something. Do you know what I mean? When there's a war going on and you need something quite hearty, Bovril. And I feel like maybe it was around in the 50s, 60s, 70s, but surely by then it was starting to die and go away. I've never had it. I've never seen it. I've never been offered it. But I am aware of it. Who cares what Meltzer thinks? He needs his head surgically removed from Tony Khan and AEW's bleep, says James. My granddad loves Bovril, and he has bread with it. I can see that as more like a soup, where you like dip the soup in it, where you dip the bread in the soup kind of a thing. I can see that more. In my mind, it's more a drink that people have in a mug and like drink it. I mean, I suppose like you could drink soup if you wanted. I wouldn't, personally. I mean, I always have soup with a spoon. And bread. Love dipping bread in soup. That's a must. If I had to have soup without bread, I'd be super sad. I'd be super sad. If you want to upset me, invite me around your house, give me some soup, and don't give me bread. That'll do it. I'll be very upset then. So, yeah, it's weird though, isn't it? It's weird if you think that, like, soup you eat with a spoon, which is basically like just drinking it anyway, but just in little portions. But I would never think to actually pick up a bowl and go, I mean, that just never. The thought of that horrifies me. If I don't have, like, cutlery to enjoy soup, I mean, what kind of savage am I? Do you know what I mean? I'm not Kamala. I'm English. Goddamn so. Excuse me, have you got a soup spoon? They're the round ones, just so you know. When is Dude Perfect doing the Mania stage reveal? Is it on Friday? It could be, yeah. It tends to be the day before. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance of it being on Friday. It tends to be on their YouTube channel, doesn't it? So, it's Thursday, is it? Thursday. There we go. Thursday. Why not drink straight from the bowl? It's fast and efficient. That makes me feel sick. That makes me feel sick. I don't know why. Drinking straight from the bowl just makes me feel sick. I feel like it's... You know, like, I think I've got these preconceptions of, like, how you're meant to have, like, certain food. And that is not what you do with soup. It's a spoon, yeah? Or a bit of bread. Bit of bread or a spoon. Anything else, a straw, drinking from the bowl, having it in a cup, any other way is completely unacceptable. It's unacceptable. No, it can't. It will not be done. It will not be tolerated. So yeah, I couldn't do it. Oh, man, if I went to a restaurant or went out to a friend's house or something and they gave me soup and they gave me no spoon, I genuinely just don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. I'd be like, have you got a spoon? And they'd say no. And I'd be like, I would then not know what to do. I'd glitch. You know, like if you like bash the keyboard on a computer and it like is trying to figure out what to do. And there's like all these commands you've told it to do at the same time. And it's like having to try and like work out. That would be me. If you gave me soup with no spoon or bread, I'd be like, that is exactly how you would get me to go. I just wouldn't be able to compute. I wouldn't know what to do. In my mind, I'd be like, I can't leave it because that's rude, but I'm not drinking it. Can I throw it in a plant? Is there a plant that I could chuck it in? What if they know I've done that? Is that rude? It feels rude. And I'll still be hungry. Oh my god, all this, like... 2, 3, Imperium have won. Imperium have won. I don't understand soup before a meal. It makes no sense. Why would I want soup and then a steak? Well, soup, I understand the notion of starters. So a starter is to kind of get your appetite going. Because sometimes, like, you know, you sit down and you might be like, not really that hungry. Well, you have a starter and that kind of gets your appetite going. So having soup at that point, something a bit, like, light, not that heavy or whatever. And then normally if you're in a restaurant or something, by the time they bring the main after the starter, you forgot you even had a starter. So, I can understand that. But I can understand starters. Don't tell Days about cuppo soup. Yeah, do you know? In my mind, though, cuppo soup is soup you make in a cup, but I would still use the spoon for it. I wouldn't be drinking even cuppo soup. I mean, I don't know how you're meant to have. I've never had it. Straight up, I have never had it. But in my mind, you make it in a... It's an easy way to make it in a cup. But even then, like, you better give me a spoon. I don't know what I would do if you just gave me the cup. I'd be like... I'd go back to, like, glitching. Okay, I just couldn't do it. It's not right. Days, even in Game of Thrones, when the Hound drank the stew from the bowl, Arya apologized for him. I mean, I understand those words, but I don't understand that. I never saw Game of Thrones. But it feels like me and Arya are on the same page. So, do you acknowledge lentil as the Michael Jordan of soups? Lentil soup. Never had lentil soup in my life. Lentil soup is the flipping... Who sucks at basketball? Who absolutely sucks? That's what lentil is. Lentil is the Hasbulla of the basketball world. We got Kaylee Ray and EO doing a little promo thing. Just saying good luck to each other, whatever. Yeah, no, lentil, I've never had it in my life. The king of soups is chicken. I mean, that's the king, isn't it? If you've got a cold or you're under the weather, people say have chicken soup. It's chicken. Chicken's the king. I mean, you can have other ones, you know. I'm sure you've got your vegetable soup, and I'm sure you've got your beef stew or whatever, I don't know. But chicken is the king of soups. Chicken is the Michael Jordan. Lentil is the Michael Jackson. That's it. Chicken is the Michael Jordan. Lentil is the Michael Jackson. This food talk is making me hungry. I'm surprised you never saw Game of Thrones. Why? It's all like, you know, dragons and wizards and goblins and whatnot. It's not really my bag. Chicken noodle or broccoli cheddar? Broccoli cheddar. Sounds like what I would call my daughter. Based on PW Insider, but lower your Cody expectations. No spoilers, but lower your Cody expectations. From PW Insider. What's that? Let's have a look. PW Insider. It's worth a listen. Is this on their Twitter or something? Let's have a look. Let's see what's being said. Bum 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 bum. Can't see anything yet. Okay, I'll have a look after. I can't really see anything on it at the moment. Broccoli cheddar is really good. People that eat cheese soup must be sent to a psychiatrist. Shane is supposed to be at WrestleMania, either backstage or just there. I'm sure he'll be there. Are you watching the NXT pay-per-view on Saturday? Fightful reported 5 minutes ago Shane is being brought back for WrestleMania. Okay. It's regarding Shane. Okay. Well, I don't think it's a surprise that he's there. I mean, like, unless it says that he's having a match and he's in the thing with Seth, then I'm really not worried. I mean, him being around at WrestleMania... I mean, it's WrestleMania. Shane McMahon being backstage wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Without seeing what is actually said, you know, I can't really say anything. But to me, this doesn't feel like a big deal. What is the next face of the company like Cena and Roman? Maybe Gable Steveson. Maybe. That high on him. The only thing is he might go down the kind of Kurt Angle route where he's a great like wrestler but maybe just lacks that it factor. I mean, I feel like Kurt is a legend, of course. Hall of Famer, of course. But there was always just something that kind of held him back. I don't know if it was charisma but he never got to the Cena, Rock, Stone Cold level. I always felt he was like that, just one level below. Here is Dakota. Right, Ivy is in the ring. There's Ivy Niall. Right, Ivy Niall in the ring. On her own, man. Why is no one come down with her? Where's Bivens? Shouldn't at least Malcolm Bivens be there? We We kick ass, not kiss ass. Okay, so Ivy Nile against Tiffany. I think you're a bit high on Gable Steveson. I am high on him. Selling refrigerator for 25-year-old. I'm asking $15, says Dan. We are Craigslist. That's what we are. Gable's personality in college wrestling was pretty heelish. I hope they go in that direction with him. Bivens is there. Where is he? Is he at ringside? I saw her, but I didn't see him. Right, she's in the ring. Oh, yes, there he is. I see him now. Ivy Nile in the ring then with Tiffany. Lovely suplex. Nice work by Ivy Nile. Dave's lentil soup is the greatest soup. Maybe it's a Scotland thing. Maybe it's the Scotland thing. Shannon said Gable Steveson is a damn prodigy. He is going to be a big star. Root Beer Float says, do you think Brandy is going to be there at WrestleMania with Cody, setting up Seth Becky versus Cody Brandy? It could happen maybe at next year's pay-per-view. I don't think so. Rumors were that she isn't coming into WWE with him. They could do it one day, but I'm not expecting them to set that match up anytime soon. I mean, maybe down the road, but right now she's focused on doing her cooking show. They're trying to sell a cooking show. Oh, it's a bit botchy. I don't know really kind of whose fault that was, but it was just a little bit botchy there as they were trying to go for a pin. Side headlock at the moment by Tiffany. Days, buy that refrigerator. Put it in your dream team. What's the worst sandwich you've ever had? Don't know. Don't think I've ever had a bad sandwich. I always tend to stick with what I know. I don't really take risks. Not a risk taker. I'm the kind of guy that will always order the same thing from the takeaway. Do you know what I mean? Don't want to. Why try something that you might not? Yeah, there might be something on there that's great, but you know what you like. Stick with that. It never lets you down. That's me, and I'm the same with sandwiches. So I don't know. Maybe if I'd experimented and tried lots of different like sandwiches, then there'd be ones that I don't like. But I just kind of stick with what I know, just so I can avoid those bad experiences. Ivy Nile in control. Bit of a botchy transition. Right, Ivy Nile pulling back on the arms of Tiffany, and Tiffany gets smashed down into the ring. She rolls out the ring. Ivy Nile goes out after her. Chucks her back into the ring. Ivy Nile is so jacked. I mean, like, her biceps are incredible. Her arms are incredible. Here's Sarray. Sarray has come down. Ivy Nile picked up. Lands on her feet. Dragon Sleeper. Ivy Niles won. Look at her arms, man. Look at her arms. She's got like proper flipping bulging biceps. Her arms are so impressive. All of her actually is impressive. I'm loving Ivy Niall's look. There's not many women that have got that kind of definition. Give me a bucket of KFC and I will tear it up. Screw the sides. Give me that chicken, says William. Dort Knight said, I think meatball subs are damn good. Jason said, Johnny Rockets has got the best grilled cheese sandwich. Larry said, if they said Veer will be at Raw after Mania, that means he'll debut at Mania. Coming up next, we got Dolph Ziggler. There's going to be, I don't know, a bit of a video package maybe where we take a look at Dolph Ziggler. I'm not sure. I'm going to commercial break first. Who cares about that? Raquel is jacked. So is Xia Li, Dana Brooke, and Mandy to some degree. We've seen it before. Give me a break. Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, not as jacked as what she is. No way. The definition that she's got on her muscles is... Come around here with Mandy Rose. You idiot. I mean, Dana Brooke has got some good definition, but Ivy Niall feels like she's in a league of her own. Absolutely. Raquel Gonzalez has got good shoulders, but she does not have Ivy Niall's biceps. Ivy Niall is definitely out on her own. I mean, maybe you could look at like a Jade Cargill over in AEW. But no, Mandy Rose. Come on. No. Dort Knight said, Ivy could tear it up in the UFC. Could you imagine the internet if Shane is actually Seth's opponent? No one cares about Veer. They're going to waste him. Harry said, do you think Johnny Gargano will come back to WWE soon? Don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. I think he's spending a bit of time on the indie scene. And I think actually he wants to just kind of take bookings he wants to take so he can spend time with his kid. I think if he goes to WWE, then they'll have him on the road and all that kind of stuff. He'll be away from his family, and I think that's going to be hard for him to do. I think Johnny is someone that would put his family first, and I think sometimes in wrestling you can't do that. You know, it's one of Undertaker's regrets. I heard him talk about the other day, talking about how like, you know, he wasn't there for his kids and how he missed like the little leagues and all that kind of stuff. I can't see Johnny doing that. I can't see Johnny missing that stuff. I can't see Johnny being prepared to do that. So I really don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be Fiend versus Seth. It will be funny if Veer debuts. They're not as jacked as you. Oh, well, talk about jacked, Miss Clown One. Would you troll if you were, and who would you bring out before Cody? Yeah, you could bring Shane out before. I don't know if Shane would be willing to do that, though, because whoever goes out, you're kind of feeding them to the slaughter. Do you know what I mean? Whoever goes out is going to get... And if it's anyone but Cody, they'll be like, oh, you know what I mean? They'll be underwhelmed. So whoever you put out there, you're kind of throwing them to the wolves. So you could go with Elias. You could go with... You could go with Shane if he'd be willing to do it. I mean, or they just might not swerve at all. I mean, for me, it's going to be Cody. Unless there's a report that's come out that says it's definitely not now. All along it's been Cody Seth. And now we're finally getting to the point where it's Seth versus a mystery person. And now, all of a sudden, some people are starting to go, well, what if it's this? What if it's this? What if it's this? It's like, no, it's going to be Cody Seth. It's been that all along. So, you know, And now we've got to the point where it can be Cody Seth. It's going to be Cody Seth, innit? How are you with spicy food? Do you ever try the one chip challenge? You should try to eat something spicy, the hottest in the world. It would be funny. Nah. I'm all right with spicy food, but I mean, obviously, if it gets really spicy, then, you know, I struggle like most people would. I'm not someone that's crazy about spicy foods, but a one chip challenge, you know, I could do it. I could try it. But I wouldn't make an interesting video. I feel like that's the kind of thing that people... I mean, if you want to see people doing the one-chip challenge, it'll be all over the internet. Like, that's the whole reason it exists, is for people to buy it and take videos of them eating it, basically. So, yeah, I should imagine it's all over TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So, no, I'll leave that to others. But I don't really seek out hot food, to be honest. I like something to have a bit of warmth, but I just don't enjoy it if it, like, numbs my mouth and becomes, you know, intolerable. I know there's people out there that love it. The hotter, the better. They just want hotter and hotter and hotter. I actually think, though, that if you... his chair says 9/9/2015. Is that when he joined, was it? Yeah, I think if you have something that's hot and you keep having it that heat, you will eventually get used to it. I suppose in a way it's like weightlifting, isn't it? You know, you lift a weight, you'll get used to it. You're going to have to increase that weight to feel any kind of effect. And I think it's the same with heat. You keep having heat, you'll get used to it. It won't be as hot. Then you have to have a bit more. And, you know, people get to the point where they're like, you know, double Vindaloo. Just doing, like, crazy stuff because, you know, they need it at that level now. I've always been quite good at just, like, sticking up a pretty medium kind of a heat. I'm quite happy with that. Right, Dolph Ziggler. Vape Ross Vape said you should put a gator down. That's WWE wacky. Put a gator down that's WWE wacky. I don't even know what that means. And now the message has gone. Can you give my uncle Darren a shout out? Shout out to Darren. Hope Darren's well. Hope Darren's excited for WrestleMania. Did you see the report that WWE will be editing out Jonathan Grisham's Progress World Championship match as he is apparently signing with AEW after Ring of Honor's Supercard this week? No, I haven't seen that. But that's pretty low-level stuff, innit? Do you know what I mean? Editing him out of a Progress show. I mean, how many people are even watching the Progress stuff, to be truthful? I mean, no one really on our streams ever talks about the Progress shows that are on there. So, edit him out, keep him in. I don't think it'd make any difference. I did get your video, William. And I feel like lines were crossed. I feel like we went too far that time. So, see if Big D will play it. Have you heard about Nash Carter? His wife, Kimberly, has come out and said that he has been abusing her physically and mentally since October. Has she actually said that? I saw yesterday she said that stuff's been going on behind the scenes, but... And that's his wife. I mean, I haven't seen... Didn't she say something like in 24 hours I'll give details? I haven't seen anything more than that. So, I don't know what she's said, to be honest. I mean, there'll be obviously a big backlash on that if he's been abusing her, and rightfully so. I've heard of her. I didn't even know... She used to be in WWE. I didn't even know that they were together. This is a little video package all about Dolph Ziggler, looking at his career, looking at what he's achieved, looking at him in the Spirit Squads, all that kind of stuff. Dave showed it. Some of it, says William. Did he? Fair play. AEW fan said it's 2022 and Dolph is a world champion. Isn't that insane? It's not really a world title, the NXT title. It's a developmental title. I think their only 2 world titles are Universal and WWE. Cody a heel coming in or Seth playing the bad guy. Would you have Cody lose his... I wouldn't have Cody lose his first match. Wonder what the game plan is. All wondering what the game plan is? Yeah, I don't know. Right, here is Legado del Fantasma. What, Fantasma or whatever they're called. There is Elektra Lopez. Legado del Fantasma versus... Is it Brooks and Jensen or something? I don't know who they're facing. Brooks Jensen. Briggs and Jensen. Briggs and Jensen. There we go. I'll release it on my channel. Let me see what YouTube says. I think YouTube will allow it. I just think that I wouldn't get away with that on the podcast, to be honest. I think for me that was I sent you a tweet a couple of hours ago. Okay. I mean, I'm guessing they must be separated. I've been going through emotional and mental abuse and hell since October. Look at how you're treating a victim. Shame on you. Okay. She's not said anything further. Oh. I think she's in a really bad place, isn't she? To be honest. So she turned around and said, like, I don't know, I don't know the history of this, right? So I'm just going to tell you what I've seen and how it looks to me. So she said that she's got stuff to say, basically, but she can't say it just yet. She needs 24 hours, right? I think that was a mistake because she's got fans, and those fans are going to be worried about her. And, you know, unsurprisingly, a lot of people have reached out to her because that's what that kind of message is going to do. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that, you know, care about her and fans for her. And, you know, a lot of it is going to come from a good place. But, you know, I don't know, really. I don't think she was thinking straight when she sent that message out, because to send a message out saying, you know, I've got stuff I need to share, I need 24 hours before I do, and then expect people to kind of not say anything and give you that 24 hours and just kind of wait patiently, like, that's never going to happen, is it, in this day and age? It's just not going to happen. So I kind of feel like if she had like a clear mind, I think she would have seen that. She would have realized that. She maybe wouldn't have done the 24-hour thing, you know? If she wants to make a statement, she needs to just make the statement rather than, like, it comes across as a bit of a cry for help, which I'm sure it is, if she's been, like, you know, mentally abused and all this. So, you know, it's kind of like she, I think, maybe wants help but doesn't want to say stuff, and maybe there's a bit of confusion as to what the right thing to do is, and it's all seems really messy and, you know, horrible. And now she's come out and saying, like, the fact that I'm not ready to talk and some of you are dragging me is ridiculous. I'm going through, you know, hell. Look at how you're treating a victim. Shame on you, kind of a thing. So, you know, the narrative is kind of changing all of a sudden now. Rather than her just revealing what she's been going through now, it's starting to become her having a little pop at, you know, some of the fans out there because they've not given her that time and space. And, you know, as you said, this whole thing could have been dealt with differently. I'm not blaming her. I'm not having a go at her. I'm just saying that if she had a clear mind, I don't think she would have gone this way. I don't think she would have approached it this way. So, hopefully, she said she's going to go away for a little bit and kind of clear her head, whatever. That's probably the best thing to do. It's probably the best thing to do, to, like, go away, clear her head, kind of get into the right mind frame of having a plan and, like, this is what I'm going to do, and then just, you know, execute it. Rather than, like, I want to talk, but I can't really. I'm going to come back in 24 hours. Then your phone's blowing up and you're like, I can't believe you're hassling me. And she doesn't strike me as being in a very good place at all. At all. So it's difficult though, isn't it? I mean, like, if you was a fan of her, you'd want to reach out. You'd want to check in with her and everything. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Have to see what comes of it. I get that she wants to go public, but we still don't know if it's true until there's proof, so we can't jump to any conclusions. Could this pull MSK from TakeOver? Don't know. Nothing's really been said, has it? I mean, she hasn't. I don't know that she's pointed a finger at anyone or, like, said anything. I mean, obviously it seems like it's pointing towards her partner, of course, but I don't think at this stage it's going to take them out of Stand and Deliver. It depends what is said beforehand. I would imagine a situation that WWE are aware of. You know, if you're Nash Carter or Nash Carter, was it? If you're Nash Carter, you're going to probably tell them that this is happening and you need to be aware of it so that they can preempt it. Cora is trying to be the new Paige. I didn't mean for you to play it, just an inside laugh. I saw it. I saw it, and I was like, we can't play this. Can't play this. I've seen other indie wrestlers she knows say that she's done this before. I don't know, man. I don't know. Or I don't know. I mean, I don't know nothing about her anyway, apart from that she used to be in WWE for a short time, and then I think she's gone to Impact. That is literally all I know about her. So I really can't say. All I would say is that just from these tweets alone, you don't need to be a psychiatrist to know that she is confused. She's not really thinking things through very well. I think she's making a few rash decisions. Like, I clearly, you know, she's not in a good headspace. So let her go away, collect her thoughts, and then see what she's got to say. Right, we are underway with this Legado del Fantasma against Briggs and Jensen. We've had a long Dolph Ziggler video package. Then we had these entrances. Now we are underway with this match. This show has kind of really just been, I don't know, in the background a little bit this week. I mean, I suppose it's go home, innit? It's go home. If WWE starts selling food, they must release the Raymond Reigns. Acknowledge its flavor, says Shoggoth. Who are we talking about? Kimberly. She was in, I believe she was in like a Mae Young Classic. Those were good tournaments, man. When they had all those women in and they were trying to find like the next female superstars. They were good. Legado down Fantasma working wild and Raul Mendoza working well together. Legado del Fantasma have been together for a long time, haven't they? Really? It's weird because that group to me just hasn't really hit the heights that it's meant to. Legado del Fantasma just aren't like the killer faction that I was hoping they were going to become. If you think they've been together for quite a while now. Like Santos Escobar isn't like a top guy. These guys haven't been like tag champs. They're not like this generation's answer to the Undisputed Era. Sherry has to be in right. Wolfie, shout out to you. Days, my mum says hi. I feel like that's a lie. Is Sherry in the Hall of Fame? She should be. I feel like she is, but normally I say that and then we look and she isn't, or they're not. She definitely feels like she should be. Definitely. And as I said, I feel like she is. She is. Okay, this one is. She went in 2006. So, okay, well, that's good. So, yeah, she's in. I don't remember who said it, but I will pray for her. Putin is going to face Seth. Cody will debut and attack Putin. Vape Ross Vape says, take it from Vape Ross Vape. If you're in a toxic relationship, then get out. Life is like a weightlifting dwarf. It's short and hard. Don't waste your time. Choose happy. It's well said. I like the dwarf bit. Yeah, shout out to you, VRV. Briggs and Jensen in control. Going for the cover, 2, 3, and they've done it. They've beaten Legado del Fantasma. Briggs and Jensen. I kind of like her with them. I think she's good with them. It's sort of a little bit, a smidge Sunny when she was with the Smoking Guns. I get that kind of a vibe with this team. And she's good with them. That the insult that would hurt Days the most is insulting his beanie, but that might be crossing the line. Here's Indi and Persia. Index and Duja. I really like Indi. Indi's great. I wish Indi was in that women's match for the title. I think Indi being in there over, like, as I said, Cora Jade. Cora Jade, I ain't got an issue with her, but she's been on the scene for 5 seconds. There's definitely other women in my mind that are ahead of her in the pecking order. Did you see Sean Ross Sapp is booked for a match at GCW? No, I don't see what's happening in GCW. Lawrence said, check Jordan Henderson's tweet. I want to know your thoughts. It seems it shows unity, which is a big thing. What's it say? It's about England. It's about England or Liverpool. Henderson. What are you saying? Henderson. Who is it? Jordan Henderson. Oh my God. I do find Twitter really hard, like, to use sometimes. Like, when you're trying to find someone in particular, it's not always the easiest. I can't get my head around... Oh, yes, actually, I was going to say something on this. I can't get my head around what happened at Wembley tonight. Harry Maguire has been a colossus for England. Without him, the progress made at the last 2 tournaments would not have been possible. To be booed at his home stadium for no reason. What have we become? I do like that line. What have we become? I feel like we're going Shakespeare. Harry Maguire has been a colossus for this country. What have we become? To be booed on his home stadium for no reason. What happened tonight was just wrong. As someone who wants to win with England, I feel fortunate to share a dressing room with him. We all feel the same. Yeah, so Gareth Southgate actually came out and said something after the match tonight. I didn't hear the boos for Maguire, but he came out tonight and laid into the fans. It was like, I just don't get this. I don't understand. How can we be booing someone that's wearing the England shirt and giving their best? And, you know, they're going through a hard time at the moment with their club, but they've always delivered for the country and everything. And I 100,000% agree. Could not agree more. It's got nothing to do with him being a Man United player. Nothing to do with him being a Man United player at all. I don't care if he played for Liverpool. I don't care if he played for Arsenal. I don't give a flip, right? I completely agree. He's got the England shirt on. He's gone out there. He's one of the 11 people that have represented England tonight. And for our own fans, I mean, if he'd have Kurt Zoomered, right? If there'd been a flipping video of him kicking a cat or doing something like this, yeah, boo him, right? I think that would be a normal reaction to do. But the guy is just playing poorly for his club. And I think part of it might be that some fans out there just think he's now getting preferential treatment. You know, he's not playing well for Man United, but, you know, so he's going to get picked anyway. Boo. Like, maybe it's that. Maybe it's not like him so much they're booing. It's more his selection is what the fans don't appreciate, right? Either way, he's done nothing wrong apart from he's not playing very well at the moment for his club. Not even his country, his club. And he's still on his day, I think, our best centre-back. We had this conversation about why I thought Southgate was still right to pick him. And whether you agreed with that or disagreed with that, you know, not bothered, don't care, you know, each to their own. Yeah, I didn't hear the boos, but awful. I feel like I can understand why people would do it. If they think that he's getting preferential treatment and they're booing that more than booing him, but yeah, awful. I don't like it at all. That's not gonna build the team spirit that we want and all this kind of stuff, is it? So here's Cameron Grimes. Anyone seen the rescue of a dog in the LA River yesterday, says Eric. No. Luna Vachon should be in the Hall of Fame with her husband, Bam Bam Bigelow. Cameron Grimes said this is going to be his biggest match. We've got Toxic Attraction coming out. We're almost at the halfway point. Mandy Rose coming out. Days, can I ask the LMK the question about coming on? No. You've been banned from talking to her, and you know you have as well. You know you have. I feel like Maguire has just become a bit of a meme for English fans, and people just love to get at him over anything. Yeah, it's wrong. Football fans are fickle. International fans are fickler. Who wins the World Cup? England. It's coming home. It's coming home. Checked with FedEx, and they've given me a tracking number because apparently it's coming home. Why has Gigi Dolin got a backpack in the ring? I hate this group. I've never liked this group. I don't hate them because they're heels. I just think they're rubbish. Did you get my video, even though you didn't play it? I did get it, yeah. But we weren't really doing like WrestleMania predictions this week. That was last week. But I saw it and I just thought, like, it's not needed. I've got nothing else to put with it. It would have to just get played on its own. And, you know, for the point of you just saying, like, oh, I'm going to pick the Usos. And, like, Finn Balor's like, I don't need it. But yours, at least yours was playable. Unlike what William sent me. You all need to remember who the hell I am. It'd be great if you gave us a good match to actually care about who you are. They are rubbish. I can't wait to see them all lose their titles. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just meant to be rubbish. I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to do, though. I mean, I feel like Jacey Jayne and Priscilla Kelly, or whatever, Gigi Dolin, I feel like they can be all right as a tag team. But this does not make me care for them more. I mean, I was already quite intrigued by Priscilla Kelly because I'd heard of her on the indie scene. Never heard of Jacey Jayne. The girl with the orange hair scares me, and I don't know their names. That's not a good sign, is it? Says Eric. No. No, it's not a great sign. The first match I saw Mandy Rose in was the Elimination Chamber, said Dizzle Dog. They are an awful faction. Well, I feel like we are unified. We've beaten everyone. Gigi's doing good, but the other two I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even feeling Gigi. Don't think her promos are very good. I think her in-ring has got potential. And maybe with Jacey Jayne as well, but I don't know. None of them do it for me. Boss Vape said, are they called toxic because of all the war paints? Maybe. Do you prefer this or Absolution? I literally would prefer pretty much anything over this. So I would take Absolution. Wasn't Absolution like Paige, Mandy, and Sonya? I mean, Paige was with them for a time, wasn't she? Because it was Riot Squads. And, yeah, I mean, when Paige was with Mandy and Sonya are great friends. So, them two being together had a nice chemistry to it. So, yeah, Absolution, definitely. Paige as manager was great. Paige is a great manager. She's a great talker. She's a great GM. But Paige as, in that kind of managing role, that's cool. I actually quite enjoyed Mandy and Sonya Loser Leaves WWE match. Obviously, it didn't last very long and Sonya came back, but at least when she came back as like an authority figure. She wasn't really back as a wrestler. It's just they have used her in wrestling matches. We got Dakota in there. We got Raquel in there. The promo has brought my score down. The Hoot has brought it back up. My halftime score is 6.5. Why doesn't Football Days make an England song for the World Cup? Could send in video lyrics and songs. I think I could come up with a decent song. I don't think Football Days has got the time for that. I think we do that kind of stuff with the WEP. And just literally, there's time to do that kind of bring in submissions and all that kind of stuff with the WEP, which is a nice outlet for that, but there's not the time to then introduce it on other channels. It's the same reason why we don't do that stuff on this channel. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are seemingly showing they're now back on the same page again. Have they reunited Raquel and Dakota? I believe so. Yeah, I believe they have. They were just in the ring holding up the titles, so I believe they have. If you made a channel called Ultimate Fighting Channel, UFC for short, would that be legal? No, you couldn't do UFC. You could probably get away with Ultimate Fighting Channel, but I don't think you'd get away with UFC, like doing it UFC for sure. I would have Toxic Attraction over Blackpool Combat Club. Surely you agree? No, I can't even jokingly agree. You don't seem very excited tonight. It's not really anything to be excited about. It's a go-home show. There's no matches that have any kind of drama to, like, I always struggle with matches where it doesn't matter who wins. It just doesn't matter who wins. You know, and on go-home shows, you do tend to get that. I mean, it just doesn't matter who wins. I mean, we saw a six-man tag match earlier. It doesn't matter who wins. And, I mean, I suppose Ivy Niall, you know, I was kind of into the Ivy Niall match. Again, it didn't really matter who won, though. Her against Tiffany. Now we've got Von Wagner against this Bodie guy. It doesn't really matter who wins, does it? So, yeah, I think it's a go-home show for me, this. Hard to kind of push stories along that are already in place, you know, ready for the weekend. The only thing I would say is that was my concern for Raw, but they actually did a decent job. I mean, we got good promos, which were great. I really enjoyed the promos. And we got that great Bianca Becky segment where she cut her hair. So that was great as well. But I don't feel like we've had really great promos on this show. And we haven't had anything as significant as that Bianca and Becky moment. So, yeah, it's just sort of there tonight, really. Significance. Yeah. If there was an AEW invasion of SmackDown, the Dragon Bros, American Dragon and Red Dragon, would decimate the bloodline, says Larry. How do you answer that? Because, I mean, clearly if it's being booked by WWE, they wouldn't. If it's being booked by AEW, then they probably would. So, I suppose the answer is it depends who's doing the booking. If they're invading WWE, that would suggest WWE are doing the booking. So, I don't think they would. Unless you had them decimate them at first to set up a match further down the road. But ultimately, the Bloodline would get the victory. Not because I'm saying like anyone's better or I'm trying to wind up AEW fans. I'm just saying that if WWE are doing the booking, they ain't putting AEW stars over, are they? Dakota and Raquel are back together when they just beat each other up. I don't really get it. Raquel and Dakota reuniting is the highlight of the show. Bianca Becky feud needed something, and I'm happy that WWE came good. I think they made a mistake having the NXT pay-per-view the same day as WrestleMania. You can have too much of a good thing. Daniel said, can you explain to me what Dakota's gimmick is? I think she's, like, unhinged. I think she is mentally struggling. I was going to say mentally challenged. I don't know. I mean, she's seeing imaginary people, talking to them, but I don't think she's a good enough actress to really pull it off. She developed a bit of a twitch. She's talking to imaginary people. She's kind of lost her mind a little bit. I can't even remember what over. I can't remember what over. Was it losing to Raquel Gonzalez or something? She couldn't figure out like how she had lost and it drove her mad. Yeah. Could it be call-up time for Wendy? I wouldn't think. I mean, like, I wouldn't think so because she's only been around for like 5 minutes. But then saying that, I said the exact same thing about Bron Breakker, and it looks like he's getting called up. So I suppose you can never say never. Here's Von Wagner making his way out. Von Wagner with Robert Stone. Zoom Station said maybe her sanity is back now. Maybe. Maybe if she reunites with Raquel Gonzalez, that will magically heal her. Jacket Time are on commentary. Okay, so Jacket Time are on commentary as Von Wagner is getting into the ring. Tell me your favorite wrestling moment of all times and your reasons. Favorite wrestling moment of all time. Favorite wrestling moment of all time. Well, my head, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. My head goes to Hogan Andre. My head goes to the end of the Undertaker streak. I don't know. The end of the Undertaker streak's hard because it's the most shocking moment I've ever seen. It certainly was not my favorite at the time, but I've come to appreciate it more as the years have gone by. And now I really like it. So I do really like it. I know lots of people don't, but I do. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but it's definitely the most shocking. I think Sting's debut, might be my favorite. I think it was perfect. Sting being in WWE is something that I always wanted to see. I always wanted to see Sting. And they brought Sting in 2014 at Survivor Series. And the way they did it was so good. They had, like, Team Cena against Team Authority, and they stacked it. So, like, if Team Authority lost, they were out of power. And that was Triple H and Steph and everyone. And if Team Cena won, then if Team Cena lost, they lost their jobs. So, like, the stakes were really high. It was either someone was out of power or the other team were out of work. So, high stakes, and it's super tense, and it gets down to, like, 3-on-1, and it's just Ziggler on his own. And then, he's getting screwed. Triple H is tripping him over, all this kind of stuff. The referee gets knocked out. They bring down a bent ref that's going to, like, count really quick. And just as he goes 1, 2, and they're about to count the 3, the lights go out, and then Sting comes out. It's just like, oh my God, that moment is just. I don't know if I can say it's the best, but it's one of the best. And it doesn't really get spoke about that much. If you talk about, like, the greatest moments, people will talk about Stone Cold coming out with the beer truck. Or some at WrestleMania 17, or some of that happened there, or, Austin and Brett with the Bloods, or the ladder match, or, lots of different things like that. Hogan Andre, that might get a shout. But, God, I really, really do love that Sting moment. I really do love that Sting moment. It's just a shame that kind of the match at WrestleMania 31 ruins it. It gets ruined by the fact he loses at WrestleMania. If he'd have won at WrestleMania, I think that would have been brilliant. But I think it doesn't take away from that moment, but it does. Obviously, it took away from him being in WWE. Big Splash, this Bodie guy doing all right. Sting was amazing. That was my first wrestling hero, said Dort Knight. Hate to say it, holds a special place in to me, but NXT is ice cold and irrelevant. Dortnite said, "You're making me want to go and watch that Sting debut. It's incredible. It's so good. It doesn't get the praise that it deserves. I think because Sting loses at WrestleMania 31, it's people don't maybe talk about Sting coming into WWE, but it was so flipping good. I mean, this was Sting, who was the face of WCW, and everyone wanted Sting to come in when the invasion happened in 02, 01, 02 type thing, and he didn't. And they tried to get him, and they couldn't. And like 12 years later, WrestleMania at Survivor Series 2014, they finally get him. And they get him, I think, largely thanks to the video game. He's in the video game first, before he's in WWE. And then they managed to get him at Survivor Series. So there was, like, going into it, like, do you think we'll see Sting? Do you think we'll see Sting? And then when he's there, it's like, oh my God, it was so good. Von Wagner is won, and he's ripping the jackets of the Jacket Time guys. That woman is at ringside as well. So, there we go. Can you do top 10 most overrated wrestlers and why? That's a bit much. I think top 10's a bit much. Here's Tony. So, Tony talking about Tommaso. The Sting WrestleMania 31 entrance is awesome, says Zoom Station. My favourite wrestling moment is Shawn Michaels ending Ric Flair. That's amazing. Punk at Money in the Bank's great story and a great payoff. Why do you think they didn't make Lay-In win? Was it Vince saying we beat your best guy? Why didn't they make Sting win at Mania? They didn't. I know the answer to that. They didn't make it. It's got nothing to do. There is this slight misconception that Vince actively wants to bury certain people, right? Because they work for the competitors. That's the fear with Cody, is that he'll come in and he'll get buried because he was with AEW. But I just don't believe that to be true all the time. I'm sure there's been occasions, but the thing with Sting was that Sting was meant to win. He was going to win. And there was talks of having him win. But they decided that they would actually get a lot of heat if they had him lose. And they wanted heat on Triple H because they had it planned that the next year at WrestleMania 32, it was going to be Triple H versus The Rock. And they were building to that match. Part of the reason why The Rock gets into the ring with Triple H and then gets Ronda from the crowd and there's that kind of interaction is because that wasn't just a one-off segment. It was going to be the start of a build towards next year's WrestleMania, and we were going to get Triple H and against The Rock. So by beating Sting, you've had Triple H get all the heat because he's just beaten Sting, and all the fans hating him. That helps in the build towards their match they're gonna have at WrestleMania 32, and that was the thought process basically. But Rock's schedule changed, and it was what it was. And the end result is, of course, it doesn't happen. They don't do the match in the end. And so the end result is, in isolation, it just looks like he loses the match. When, in truth, he was going to have won. And if they weren't going to do Rock and Triple H, then Sting would have won that match. Really flipping annoying. Really annoying. And the other thing as well is, who knows what Sting would have done at 32 and beyond, But isn't it like later that year he's kind of forced out of the ring because of the buckle bomb that goes wrong? And do you know what I mean? Like, who knows? Who knows? He could have like taken that first loss and then gone on to achieve, like, you know, some great stuff. I'm not saying he would have been champ, but he could have gone on to achieve some things. And at least then you would have looked back on his run and gone, do you know what? It was all right. In the end, it was actually all right. Whereas now you look back on it and you go, it's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. Sting in WWE is really disappointing. You wanted it to be better than that. I did anyway. Wanted him to win at Mania. I think it's one of the worst decisions to not have him win. I don't care. I understand, like, the idea of building Triple H up. You know, if Triple H had lost to Sting, then it's going to be hard to convince people that Triple H is going to beat The Rock the next year. So I get that. And I get that it gets heat on him. So I get it. I get why you would make that decision. But so annoying that it didn't go that way. So annoying. Because now in isolation, it just looks like they buried Sting. So yeah, it's that was the reason for it, but I don't agree with it. I think Sting should have just won. Nikita Lyons in action. My favourite moment is the Roman heel turn, says Edwards. Team USA faction, says Larry. Add Stevenson. Joe Gacy. When you talk about wrestling moments outside of matches, I've got a bunch of random moments like Shawn putting Marty through the barbershop. Piper and Morton Downey Jr. Is Morton Downey Jr. the guy in the ring at 5? Because I don't know who he is. And he's smoking. It's very unusual to see a celebrity playing a heel. And there's a guy, and I think it's him, who's, like, smoking, and, like, Roddy Piper's, like, saying, don't smoke around me, please. And this celebrity's, like, smoking, and he blows it in Piper's face as well. And there's this great shot of Piper standing there with his eyes closed, just, like, having to keep himself in line as this smoke's being blown into his face, and he's like... You know, and then he grabs this fire extinguisher and, like, sprays that all over them. You didn't really see them using fire extinguishers back then, so that was kind of shocking. And it was especially shocking for me because 5 is one of the first WrestleManias I ever see. So, yeah, this guy came across as all right douche. So it was great to see Roddy Piper beating him up. So if that was him, then. Team Days Angle, House, Shelton, Alpha Academy, Gable, Team USA faction. I feel like some of those names are, you know, best left in the past. Charlie Haas and Kurt Angle, if they're done. I mean, you could have, you could put Stevenson with Alpha Academy. And maybe you could add Shelton into that. You know, maybe have a faction of 4. I don't mind factions of 4. So, yeah, you could maybe do that. Right, here's, is it Draco? Draco Anthony making his way down. Where are we? We've got just over half an hour to go. Okay, Draco Anthony taking on Joe Gacy. Draco versus Gacy. What they could have done was have Sting win at Mania and then still do the Rock Triple H segment. Then the Raw after, have Triple H absolutely destroy Sting in a revenge attack. Yep. That was Morty Downey Jr. I don't know who that is. I'm not just saying was that him, like, secretly knowing it was. I genuinely don't know who that is. Morton Downey Jr. I'm guessing he must be like a film actor or something. Just a guess. He looked like one. But, yeah, it was very unusual to see a celebrity playing a heel. Normally they want to come in and be the hero, like Bad Bunny. And I suppose that's kind of, cool to see, like, Logan Paul playing that in 2022, celebrity being a heel. Could they have leaked Shane to cause doubt on Cody? Yeah. I firmly believe it's going to be Cody. I think we've had Cody. I think they absolutely could have leaked that to get people doubting stuff. I think that Cody is definitely someone that, look, Meltzer came out, I don't know how long ago, and said it's not a matter of, like, if, it's a matter of when. He has signed. So, they've come out and said Cody has signed. They've come out and said it's going to be Cody Seth. Cody Seth. And as I said, we've now got to the point where Seth's got a match. It's against the mystery opponent. And now magically there's rumors that Shane's coming back. I mean, even if Shane comes back, that doesn't mean that he's going to be in this match. So, no. For me, it's still Cody and Seth. Until I see a report that, is from a source I trust telling me it's absolutely not. For me, I'm expecting Cody to walk out. But I don't mind a little bit of doubt being put out there. A little bit of doubt is kind of cool. Because as I said, one of the big criticisms is that these companies can't keep secrets. And the Cody news has got out, but at least, if they are trying to leak a bit of doubt, I can applaud that. I like the fact they're trying, making an effort. Michael said, now that Triple H has retired, where do you see this version within a year? I think the ratings seem to be okay. The ratings don't seem to have dipped. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I really don't know. I can't connect with some of these characters. I don't know why. I don't feel for these like I did for Undisputed Era, or like I did for Johnny Gargano, or like I did for, a lot of that talent that was around not that long ago. Maybe it's because, like, they're new. I just don't care about Draco Anthony. I just don't care about him. I don't really care about that Brooks and Jensen, but they're growing on me. They are growing on me. I like that girl being with them. I think that's good. But yeah, there's quite a few that I just don't really have any feeling for. I don't care if they win or lose, and that is a bit of a problem. Gacy has won here. Did you see Raw got 198? Wow, that's good, isn't it? That's good. Right, when we're back, Bron Breakker video coming up. We've got just under half an hour to go. Was the Ronda debut ever ruined? Yes. Well, not ruined, as in, like, she's 100% there, but rumors were that we knew she had signed, and we knew that, it wasn't like that we totally expected it, but because I remember them counting it down, and it got to number 30 in the Rumble, and we were like, here we go, it's gonna be Ronda. And then Trish came out, and everyone was like, what? I mean, Trish still, in fairness to her, because she is such a legend, still got cheered. I think if it had been anyone else, there would have been boos, because I think people, certainly, you're watching it going, it's going to be Ronda, and then Trish walks out. But they did it so well because, like, after the Rumble and Asuka wins, she gets into the ring to try and choose there and then between the two champions. And as she's looking at Alexa and Charlotte, who were the two champions at the time, she's looking at which belt she wants to go for. Ronda's music hits, and then Ronda comes down, and the place goes banana. So, yeah, it's really cool. It's a great moment, actually. It's a really great moment. The way they did it was really clever, because they put a bit of doubt in your mind. And maybe they do that with Cody. They absolutely could bring out Shane first. And everyone's like, oh, I can't believe it. It's going to be Shane. And then Shane just comes down and jumps onto commentary. Or something like this. Or goes down and sits next to the timekeeper. And then, we get the introduction. Like, someone walks out and can do an introduction. Maybe Vince comes out and does the introduction. That'd be cool if Vince came out and said a few words. And introduced Cody Rhodes. That would be cool. What about top 5 most overrated? I don't really like doing like top 5s and all that kind of stuff, top 10s and all that, because I think it can be really difficult live to make sure you're not forgetting anyone. So, and something like a overrated as well, because I just kind of think that's, if you think of all the wrestlers, do you know what I mean? That's going to be tricky to go through. I mean, overrated, someone that people really enjoy wrestling-wise that you just don't think is very good. I mean, my mind is thinking more to women, and I'm thinking more about some of those, like, divas and women that, really just got by on their looks, but I don't know, like, how rated they were, to be honest. I don't know how rated they were. I mean, I don't really rate, I don't know, Dominic, but again, I don't know how rated he is. So it's hard to say overrated. It's a difficult one because I don't know how rated people are. I mean, like, I don't think Diesel was very good. I think he was an interesting character, but I don't think he was very good. There's not like a long list of like Diesel matches to go and check out. But then, does anyone rate Diesel? Is there anyone out there saying that he was an incredible in-ring competitor? I mean, he's great when he goes into NWO, goes over to WCW, but I think as Diesel, he was not all that and a bag of potato chips. Steiner Brothers going into the Hall of Fame. Overrated is weird for wrestling, says Shola. Ricky Steamboat was overrated. Give me your most overrated. Mine is Goldberg. Yeah, I agree. I think overrated is difficult. I think it's difficult. You see, like Goldberg. What are you rating him on? I mean, how's he overrated? I don't know that anyone's saying he's a great in-ring competitor, but he definitely brings excitement. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I can give you a most overrated because, again, who's saying that Goldberg is a great in-ring wrestler? Like, that's not what he does. He comes down, he has short matches, big power moves, and he goes. I mean, people might say Ultimate Warrior was overrated because he did the same. But I feel like he did it at a time where maybe people weren't as clued up about wrestling. I mean, when I was watching Warrior, I wasn't watching Warrior to admire his in-ring wrestling. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted him to win. I wanted him to go to the ring and win. Watching wrestling now is so different to how I watched it before. When I was a kid, it was all about the wins and the losses. That was it. I didn't have favorite wrestlers because I loved the moves they did. I had favorite wrestlers because I felt a connection with them. Like, I loved the Bulldog because he was from Britain. I loved the Warrior because I wasn't really into Hogan because he's Mr. America. And I love America, but it doesn't really work for me. Like, say your prayers, take your vitamins, USA kind of stuff. Same with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, didn't really work for me. But Warrior, first of all, Warrior being in the name is cool. The tassels are cool. The long hair and the shaking the ropes and the running to and that energy. Warrior. Everything to do with the Warrior is just amazing. Apart from his wrestling and his attitude. But I never rated him on his wrestling. I never watched him for his wrestling. And I didn't know about his attitude. So to me, I loved him back in the day. And if I look at what I loved him for, it all still stands up. His energy, still, you can watch his matches. It's not like he didn't really have energy. His energy was there. His promos were crazy. His look was insane. So I can't even say Warrior's overrated. I don't know who's overrated. I think the thing with wrestling is that no one really agrees on anything. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, if you say someone's good, there'll always be someone going, no, they're not. Always. Or there'll be someone saying, oh, they're rubbish. And you might think they're great. So, again, how do you know who's actually rated? It's a hard one. I rate him by move his promo, and he only had 2 moves. That makes him overrated. But who's rating him? This is my point. Who's saying that he was a great in-ring wrestler? I mean, if everyone was like, oh man, Goldberg, he is so good in the ring. He is so good. What a wrestler, man. He is so good. What you like about him? Oh, his wrestling is so good. Then I'd be like, yeah, if everyone's saying that, no, he's only got 2 moves. But I don't think anyone's saying that. I think his aura was very impressive. His entrance was very epic. His story of, his undefeated streak and everything. Just coming down and kicking ass. That's cool. That's like Stone Cold stuff, innit? So... I don't know. Here's Nikita Lyons. Right, I want to watch this girl because I watched her last time and I just wasn't really very impressed. All right, she's showing off some of her kicks. Vince overrates him by bringing him back again and again, especially with the recent title shot. He didn't deserve it. Yeah, but I think you say that, but then the crowd are all Goldberg in a way. Goldberg. He's getting reactions. He's getting views. He's getting, the data that they get must show that people are into him. I don't know if it's casuals. I don't know if it's people that still, pine for the Attitude Era. I have no idea. But I think that, he keeps getting brought back because he is a legend. He does remind people of that time. The crowd love chanting the Goldberg thing. Whether it's just they love chanting it because it's something to do, I'm not sure. But I think the message it sends to Vince is that he's over. So, like, I don't think, like, him coming back repeatedly is him being overrated. I think, sadly, there are people out there that, you know, tune in for him. He doesn't do it for me. Samoan drop. Kick coming in by Nikita and the other side. Yeah, I hate that pin. I hate that pin. The Fiend is the reason why people now hate Goldberg. It's Fiend fans, said Big Boy Dally. Nikita Lyons will move to the main roster pretty quick, in my opinion, says Rai. I just can't get into her, man. I just can't get into her. I hate that pin that she does. I think it looks rubbish. Her kicks are very good. Her kicks are very good. She's clearly trained in that. If Lyons had skill, then I would be down. Sexiest wrestler. Most overrated, Triple H, says Kevin. Dave's saying any wrestler, even if you don't like them, is overrated, is disrespecting. What they do as a profession is underrated, is different, says Larry. Is Kane rated, therefore overrated? I don't know. I really struggle with this question, to be honest. I think it's hard to know, like, who's rated, and if they're rated, what level are they rated at? I kind of feel that wrestling can be quite personal. So to me, I know who I like and who I don't like and how much I rate people. But I couldn't tell you how much my opinions of wrestlers, how they are compared to the general, do you know what I mean? Kind of, I don't know. I find that hard. Like, I think where I'm struggling is, like, how do you figure out how highly rated people actually are? I don't know. You see, like with Goldberg, I have no idea how many people are rating. I ain't got a clue. I think there's people that enjoy chanting the Goldberg thing and enjoy the fact that he's a legend and he reminds me of the Attitude Era. But how much are they actually rating him? I don't know. Perhaps I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I think it's easier to go, like, who's got the coolest ring gear? Who's got the best theme music? Do you know what I mean? Like, I find that easier rather than trying to figure out how rated people are. Roderick Strong is making his way down. So we've got our main event tonight. We've got our main event. Roderick Strong versus A-Kids versus Cameron Grimes. To the moon. There we go. Goldberg did the same as Warrior. He galvanized the crowds. We know they weren't great wrestlers, but they were wrecking machines. Zoomstage said Honky Tonk Man was kind of overrated. John says, yeah, you are. You're overthinking it. I watched WrestleMania Raw. It was a good show. Was this show remind you the end of the brand split? Should they bring back the show Super Show? Was this show remind you the end of the brand split? Should they bring back the Super? I mean, I wouldn't end the brand split. I wouldn't end the brand split because I just think that, and I said it before, there would be overexposure. So I kind of think that Roman has been good, but we don't need Roman on a Monday and a Friday. If you're going to end the brand split, that's why you want to end it. You want to end it because you want to get more of the good superstars, like, twice a week rather than just once a week. Like, you want Seth twice, you want Roman twice, you want Becky twice. But I just kind of feel like that's going to be overexposure. It would be better if we could, rather than do that, make the segments we don't like better. Book them people better. Rather than having Shinsuke go out there doing nonsense, put him in an interesting feud. Like, tell some interesting stories. That would be better than ending the brand split. Because then, like, you're just flooding both shows with, Roman and whatever. And that might be great in the short term, but I promise you after a while you'll get bored of it. Because they just ain't going to be able to have enough story, are they, to keep it going? It's just going to be like... I think he'll come out and just say something and you'll be like, just be nothing promos. Just be promos that don't go anywhere or matches that don't mean anything. Literally just to kill time. So I think for me, it's. I thought Raw for a go home was good. As I said last night, I thought there was some, decent stuff on it. The Becky Bianca segment in particular. But and as a one-off, seeing Roman on there and having champions versus champions and all that kind of stuff was good. But I think it's an exception. I think it's a one-off. I think it's something that you would do once and you don't do it week after week after week after week after week. So that you would get tired of it. I would get tired of it. So, I mean, if they brought back the Super Show and did once in a while where, anything goes, I think that could be fun. I'd be down for that. A Super Show where it's like Raw or SmackDown Superstars, anything can happen. I'd be down for that. But yeah, I wouldn't end the brand split. I struggle to get behind wrestlers when I don't feel their heart and soul are in the business. Brock and Roman are great, but I just think that Brett and Shawn were in it for life. I don't know. I feel... I kind of get your point, but I think Roman is. I mean, what more could Roman do? I mean, it's in his family. And Roman has been on the main roster now for 10 years this year. If you think, Brett, when did Brett come in? Brett must have come in the late 80s with the Hart Foundation. He left WWE by 97. So say Brett had 10 years. I feel like, Brett and Roman, I feel like Roman's comparable. I think with Brock, you can easily look at Brock and go, he doesn't care. He's not in this. He turns up, does only a few dates. I forgive him for that, though, because he's the baddest man in the world, or one of. He's legit one of the baddest men in the world. And that legitimacy, I think, is important to me. I do like to see people, living and breathing it. But I think the legitimacy is a very important word for me. And I think Brock gives you that in spades. So I respect that. So anything he lacks in, heart and desire and wanting to be there all the time, he makes up for in legitimacy. We got 9 minutes and then a bit of an overrun. When you're on Raw, you're a heel. When you're on SmackDown, you're a face, says Lee. I don't know, actually. Maybe in the past, but I thought I was pretty kind to Raw this week. Or are you saying, just in general for wrestlers? You could switch it up. I don't know how that would work, to be honest. I think that would confuse the audience. Because there's a lot of people that watch both shows. So if you're going to be, a heel on one and a face on the other, all of a sudden then it doesn't seem like you're believable, if you know what I mean. It's going to be hard to boo someone that you saw doing some good stuff on Friday, on a Monday. So, I don't know. Brock Lesnar belongs on both Raw and SmackDown. Who is your pick to win at WrestleMania, Brock or Roman? I pick Brock. I mean, I want Roman. I genuinely don't know who's going to win. I want Roman because I just don't think Brock's the right person to end that run of Romans. I want someone else to benefit from it. I also think like Brock's probably not going to be around as much after WrestleMania, just because he's worked loads going into it. He's really put a shift in. I give him credit for that. But I can't see him maintaining this schedule. So I think there's a good chance that that schedule greatly decreases and he, goes off to do his farm. So, Jason, shout out to you. Right, we are underway with our main event. Big news regarding Panini and the first and maybe last WWE card set. It's not called Prism, and it can be pre-ordered for $840. Jesus. Why would it be the first and maybe last card set they do? Have they not signed for like multi-year deals? Are they only signed for 1 year or something? You can pre-order for $840. Is that going to hold its value? That's a lot of money. Fightful tweeted 781 is a Boston area in reference to Creed Brothers tweet they got. Flip over. Head scissor takedown. I think Bron Breakker will be getting a new name change to Steiner. Maybe. Who is ready for Stand and Deliver, says Carmen. Yeah, I think people are up for it. I think people are ready for it. It's just every time it gets mentioned, everyone's like, I can't believe it's the same day as WrestleMania. So I feel like that is hopefully something they learn from, and this isn't going to be the norm. But who knows? We might watch it. It might be great. It might be that Stand and Deliver is like a starter for WrestleMania that acts as the main course type thing. So who knows? It might work. A-Kid's up top. Head scissor takedown and an arm drag at the same time. A-Kid duck underneath and hits suicide dive. One of the workers here brought a bearded lizard into the building. Very good. The Panini deal is short. It's maybe 2 or 3 sets. As of yesterday, WWE have signed a deal with Fanatics. That company owns Topps and specializes in NFTs and physical and digital cards. Okay. I think not many will watch NXT, said John. James said the weekend is going to be long. UK peeps, we're going to be zombies by the end of it. Zombies, I tell you. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This isn't our first rodeo. I'm not doubting they love the company. What they do, I guess, I just feel sad. They all want to go to Hollywood. I love wrestling for life, and that is all, says Dortmund. Honestly, I don't hold that against them. I don't hold it against them. I think you get to a certain age where it just becomes harder to, compete in ring. Like Cena would be working a reduced schedule. Undertaker worked to reduce schedule. I mean, I don't think anyone would really have begrudged Undertaker doing some horror films or something whilst he was doing his once-a-year WrestleMania. So I kind of feel like, look, The Rock came back at, was it WrestleMania 29, completely busted his pectoral muscle and everything. You saw Triple H in Saudi Arabia and completely doing his pec, and you just sort of get to that age where your body just can't anymore. I think, Rock was around that point. Maybe you could squeeze out another few years, but Same with Cena. Cena was at that point. Rock was at that point. Roman will get to that point. When he goes to Hollywood, I just really won't begrudge it him. I also think that when they do that, it's really good for wrestling. I mean, I've got to think that The Rock has brought a real level of credibility to wrestling, because now if people are like, oh, you watch WWE, you go, yeah, The Rock used to be in WWE, you know. Like, you know, The Rock. If he hadn't been as big in Hollywood, you couldn't really say that, 'cause a lot of people might not have known who he was. But because he's been in so many successful films, I feel like it does kind of link back and give credit to wrestling. Same with Batista, you know, when he was in like Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was like Dave Batista, and he was like in Bond and everything. He had like a year or so, didn't he, where he was just in like some really big films. Kind of feel like that was another example where you could be like, you know that guy, you know, he used to be in WWE. Wrestling cards and stickers brought to you by Disney soon, said Dortnight. I'm a bit excited for Stand and Deliver, and I'm definitely excited for night 1 of WrestleMania, says Hayden. That is good. Ric Flair says Shane Douglas was overrated. Pretend for a moment Hollywood doesn't exist. How would the landscape of wrestling look today? No, not that different. I don't think it would be that different. As I said, I think by the time they go, they're working a reduced schedule anyway, or they're towards the end. Like, would you see Cena more? Yeah. I mean, like, Stone Cold would still have done what he did. He didn't go to Hollywood. He, obviously, because of injury, kind of had to call it a day. So, I think that, I mean, like, how many people have gone? I mean, Batista, Rock, Cena. I can't really think of anyone outside of that. There might be some people doing some work, like low level or something, but I don't think it'd be that much different. I think like Cena was kind of coming towards the end. I don't think anything would have stopped Roman being the top guy. Don't think anything would have really got in the way of Brock. I don't know. I just don't think it would have been that different. Right, we are nearly into the overtime. How long do you think Dolph will be champ for? I really thought he was going to lose it at Stand and Deliver. I obviously don't think he will now because he's facing Bron Breakker, and I think Bron Breakker's getting called up. So I think that he is going to lose it relatively soon, but I expect him to have it after WrestleMania weekend. Whether he has like a match on NXT next week and like, you know, he loses it there. But I think he could, or it could be that he, you know, retains it at Stand and Deliver and then someone challenges him and he loses it. It's a shame there's not like a Money in the Bank. Because I would definitely say, right, he wins and then such and such cashes in. I would definitely think that. Ooh, I'll tell you what, he just absolutely planted Cameron Grimes. He just hit a monster DDT there. Are we going to see a replay? Picks him up. Round. Didn't show it, but yeah, I mean, he absolutely planted him. We got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on commentary. We got Solo Sikoa watching on. Hulk Hogan did Hollywood films. Yeah, I mean, if we're going back in the day, I mean, I think Hogan mainly, I mean, he went off to do a few films, but came back after. I think the reason why he left after 9 was to do Thunder in Paradise, which was a TV show. So, and honestly, the crowds were getting a bit bored of him. Hulkamania was not as red hot in 92, 93 as it had been in the 80s. People were definitely starting to get bored. So, I think the thought of him going away for a while was, you know, fine. And it allowed them, and this, don't forget the steroid trial was on at that point as well. So because of the steroid trial, you couldn't really have the big muscly men, which is why everything just felt like the right time for your Brett and your Shawn to kind of come through. So again, even if you take Hollywood away, I don't know that changes. Because I think at that time the crowd's getting a bit bored with Hogan. They've seen too much of him. I think not only that, but you got the steroid trial that's on. And then not only that, he, leaves to do Thunder in Paradise, which was a TV show. So I think even if you took Hollywood away, I don't think, maybe it would have changed the Hollywood Hogan name. But I don't think that it would drastically change wrestling too much. Right, there we go. Cameron Grimes has won. Cameron Grimes is going to the moon. That's where Cameron Grimes is going. What do you score NXT? What do you score NXT? I don't think there was anything offensive on this show. I just don't think there was anything significant really either. I mean, I suppose Cameron Grimes winning is a moment. And you can say maybe Raquel and Dakota getting back together, but I think that's a bit silly after everything they've been through. I think the Bianca Becky moment was really cool and added to their story. I don't think the Raquel Dakota thing really makes a great deal of sense to me. So I'm definitely in 575 or below for this one, but we'll see what you lot think. Here's Santos Escobar. So Santos Escobar said, I'm going to take that title and bring it back to the Familia. Here's Grayson Waller. So we got Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, Santos Escobar, Grayson Waller, and Solo Sikoa. This will be good, won't it? To the moon. There we go. Who will climb the ladder? It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. I give NXT 9 out of 10. Are you excited for SmackDown before WrestleMania? I'm more excited for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I mean, of course I'm looking forward to Friday, but I am probably more excited for the Hall of Fame. I think SmackDown will be largely the same as Raw, the final touches, which is fine. These are go-home shows. Like, my expectations for these shows are really low. I just don't really expect much from them at all. I've gone 10 out of 10. I love the part where the lion cub survived and defeated the lion that dethroned his father. Okay. I've got a feeling you might have been watching the wrong channel. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. Alex said, what are the chances that we see a few NXT UK matches at the UK pay-per-views this year? Yeah, I mean, like, maybe for, like, pre-show stuff. Unless, like, you know, they add Ilya Dragunov against someone for the title. Maybe maybe you get, like, the women's title or the men's title defended, but I think by and large they're gonna. It's a pay-per-view style big stadium show. They're gonna need names. Like, Dragunov ain't gonna really bring that many viewers, So, you know, it's going to be very heavy with main roster. But, yeah, they might throw in the, you know, the odd token match. I mean, maybe they don't put the women's one on. Maybe they just put on, like, Dragunov and the NXT UK Championship. Just do a little something. But, yeah, I wouldn't expect much. I didn't really care anything tonight, but I like the match and the end segment, so 6.5. Way better lead to stand and deliver than WrestleMania, says Serious Gaming. Dylan said 6. Bonkers said 5.75. Brandon says 10 out of 10. Sean says 20, 10, and 8. Piper was good in Hell Comes to Frogtown, says Larry. Undertaker Kane story on the USA channel on States right now, says Rivi004. We are nearly at 100 votes. Nearly at 100 votes. So, not going to stick around too long. Got a few bits to set up. I need to... Oh, what was that thing? Oh, I need to have a look at the World Cup thing, don't I? That's what I said I was going to do. I want to have a look at the World Cup draw on Friday, so I need to go and sort that. Have a look at that. And we're 1 vote away. 1 vote away. 4.29 leisurely strolls to the parking lot out of 10, says John. I'm going to watch Sting's debut after this. Oh, do it. Do it. Treat yourself to the whole match as well, because the way it builds is just, so good. Matthew, shout out to you. Right, let's, we've had 100 votes. That'll do me. We'll get what, give us a flavour. Give us a taste of what people thought. So it is 7 to 7, 7.5, 32%, 6 to 6, 7.5, 28%, 8 to 10, which normally smashes it, 26%, and 5.75 or below, 11%. So I think I'm in the minority on this one. For me, this show just didn't really have anything significant. It's a show that you could skip. The only thing you need to know is Cameron Grimes qualified. And the Raquel and Kota are back together, and that was it really. The rest of it is just like build. So it's fine. Let's go home. It's fine. Let's see what AEW has got in store and what SmackDown has got in store. So awesome, guys. Appreciate the support. Thanks a lot for joining us. As we said, we will be back tomorrow with AEW. So hopefully I will see you then. Bye for now.